So it appears that Baylor women's basketball will host Utah in the preseason WNIT in Waco on November 14th. We don't know what the time yet or what station, but Utah is a team that is dangerous. They've returned a lot of production, including all their stars from a year ago. They did return some bench players, and I know they added a transfer from Wisconsin that's a double-digit score. They added a Boston University transfer, 5.6 points per game. And they did add a BYU transfer, but she averages 0 points per game. And most of their roster for Utah is 6'2" or shorter, with the exception of one player that redshirted last year that's 6'8". So in the way too early preseason poll, back on May 2nd, they are number 5 in the country. And Baylor, on that same way too early preseason poll, is number 13. They didn't win the conference tournament or conference outright or Sweet 16 appearance for the first time since 2007. However, it doesn't appear that's going to be the case. And yes, they did lose Caitlin Bickle, Jamie Asbury due to graduation. They did lose Jaden Owens to TCU, and of course they did lose Kendra Gillespie and Erica Porter, but the last two players were nothing burgers. But Jaden Owens was more expected to be gone, especially after Baylor added Janae Fritz. First of all, they added Yaya Felder and Jada Walker first before they got Janae Fritz as well. They also added Madison Bartley to kind of fill that role of Caitlin Bickle. And of course it doesn't include, they also added like Letty Vascalones. I know Utah added like a freshman or two, I believe, but I don't want to check. But to explain Utah a bit, they were a Sweet 16 team last year and they nearly defeated LSU. If they would have made both their free throws, they would have had the lead. Then potentially get one more stop, you win the game and go to the Elite Eight. That's how good they were. They were so close to defeating the eventual champions in LSU here. So really, when you think about it, LSU could have easily fallen short of the national title in that game, because the following game they were not going to have issues against Miami, Florida. Let's be clear. And you know what's funny is Baylor's going to play them, and it's a non-conference game. They also play Oregon as a non-conference game as well. And I know Harvard is on the list. Of course, we know the Big 12 is on the list, as we all know. What the Big 12 slate is, just don't know what the days are. At SMU is also on the docket. And Utah only added 2 freshmen, but I don't know if they're going to really contribute, because look at all the experience they're bringing back for Utah. And it's also interesting that Utah is going to be a conference member in a year from now as well. And this is a potential top 15 showdown here early on in the season. And I think that helps the game. And hopefully it'll be like on ESPN, but I don't know, because I know it's not as big of a deal. But it's a top 15 showdown. It needs to be viewed on national scale, like ESPN, ESPN2, ESPNU, besides ESPN Plus. So that's just an FYI on that. Anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe and see you guys learn. 5 subscribers, we're on the road to it. Let's go. And of course, I know Baylor women's basketball should have another preseason WNIT game. I just don't know where or who it is. And they're also going to be a part of like a tournament, they're going to play 2 games in 2 days, but in like December as well. But let me go check. In the West Palm Beach Invitational. Yeah, we don't know anything about that, who Baylor's going to play at all. And I know they're going to play McNeese State as well. That's up to this point in the schedule here. So, yeah. And in order for the Baylor to, of course, for both of these teams, in order to be the best in your conference, You got to play the best in the non-con. One of the better teams in the non-conference. Prepare yourself, because Utah is a team that could very well win the Pac-12 this upcoming year, even over Stanford, and that's crazy to think. And you know, Stanford women's basketball is more like the queen in that, and on that side of things. Now, I think Baylor is potentially going to win the Big 12 this year too. So that's all I want to say about this.